And move on now to the press review, and Erin is joining us. She's starting with a controversial arrest of a French journalist. This happened yesterday, didn't it, Erin?
Yeah, French journalist Ariane Lavrieux was taken into custody and also had her apartment searched by the DGSI, which is France's domestic security intelligence agency. Now, she and investigative journalism NGO Disclose had used leaked intelligence documents to reveal essentially what they say was a campaign of arbitrary executions carried out by al-Sisi's regime in Egypt with the complicity of the French government. They say this was all a part of a joint military operation known as Charly. Now, Disclose, in its piece published today, insists that authorities are clearly trying to intimidate her into revealing their sources. For the independent outlet Mediapart today, yet another line was crossed in the threat to press freedom. The piece details several similar incidents where journalists were either arrested or served search warrants in the past couple of years. Last year, for example, an investigative journalist who wrote a book about France's intelligence agency was taken into custody. And in 2019, two disclosed journalists were summoned to the same agency over their revelations about France's the use of French weapons in Yemen. Mediapart itself has also run into trouble with the French authorities over its coverage of France's political ties to Chad and its revelations in the Benalla affair. So this morning, they also published a cartoon where you see Emmanuel Macron saying, "We're in a democracy, don't worry, your sources have nothing to be afraid of, we're not monsters." We'll just give their name to Egypt, who just by chance also uses torture.
Other news now from here in France. King Charles III, as we saw, arriving in Paris today for a 3-day visit. What do the papers say on this, Erin?
It's not Emily, but Charly in Paris, as Libération puts it on its front page this morning. Blue lobster, roasted chicken marinated in champagne, rose-flavored macaroons will be on the menu when the monarch and the French president have dinner in the Versailles Palace this evening. The decor, then, is maybe not like what you would see in that Netflix TV show, Emily in Paris, this paper suggests. Its front page showing the two leaders there in a haze of pink, perhaps viewing the French capital through rose-colored glasses. His visit also made headlines in French paper Le Figaro with a completely different tone. The paper hailing Charles's first year on the throne as one without any faux pas, and also reminding readers that his trip is also aimed at strengthening post-Brexit ties between France and the United Kingdom. Now, to conclude, Swiss paper Le Temps had a much more comical, kind of, if not unflattering take really on it, at least for President Macron. The paper's cartoon done by Chapat this morning showing ushers welcoming King Charles III and King Emmanuel II, obviously a reference to Emmanuel Macron's second term in office, and some critics view that the French presidency looks more like a Republican monarchy.
Finally from Erin, she's found a piece about a cafe in Japan where forgotten orders are an accepted part of the dining experience, Erin.
That's right, Stuart. It sounds surprising, but it's actually part of an initiative allowing elderly people with dementia to work. The goal of these so-called dementia cafés, as the Washington Post tells us, is to offer a space for people suffering from the illness to interact with new people, to be productive, and to feel needed, according to the Washington Post. Now, this is all the more important because social interaction is actually essential to slowing the progression of dementia, which of course is an illness that doesn't have a cure. It's all the more important in Japan as well because about 30% of its population is over the age of 65, and the number of people with dementia is expected to grow significantly to 20% of that population of people over the age of 65. So this, of course, allows much brighter prospects of them to continue to play a role in society.
Good to hear. Erin, thank you very much. Erin Agunke with the papers here on France 24. We've got